sobrevivientes del planeta Krypton, el megalómano General Zod y su socia Feora son los villanos de la película.
My name is General Zod. For some time, your world has sheltered one of my citizens. He will look like you, but he is not one of you.
From the beginning of the movie, it seems like Superman as a kid is trying to find the purpose, his purpose on Earth. What was your character's purpose, overall purpose, coming to Earth?
Zod was born to fight for Krypton. I mean, that's literally what's in his bones. It's in his cells. He's a warrior. He was bred to be a warrior, and that's what makes it so hard for him when he basically fails at his job. Part at the beginning of the movie where he literally looks out the window and sees his home disappear. I mean, I can't imagine something more dramatic than that.
You see, you're here for a reason. Even if it takes the rest of your life, you owe it to yourself to find out what that reason is.
What is Feora and General Zod's purpose coming to Earth?
She is second in command of Krypton, and she is his right-hand side. So she's basically there to actually protect him and to really make sure that, you know, he has a strong soldier on his right side to encounter Earth.
You will not win. Whatever you and you say, you will kill a million more.
What do you think defines your relationship with General Zod?
I think, for me, the essential thing between those two is that they don't need words to communicate. They don't need to speak much. They just have the same idea for what's going to happen.
To Kal-El, I say this. Surrender within 24 hours, or watch this world suffer the consequences. You're a monster, Zod. And I'm gonna stop you.
La principal diferencia entre esta historia y las pasadas versiones de Superman es ver cómo la sociedad percibe a un alienígena con piel de acero y rasgos humanos, que se debate entre salvar al mundo que le dio un hogar mientras enfrenta a los villanos de Krypton, quienes invaden la Tierra.
Would you say that this remake had a more human approach to it?
I don't know about human approach. Probably yes, but definitely more of a realistic approach. More of the nature of how we exist in today's world. Questions are asked where the answers aren't obvious. And things like it's a genuine issue that we're discovering an alien on our planet. And when we discover an alien, how does the world feel? Do they genuinely think it's okay? Or do they want to do tests? Do they fear the guy? Are they going to end up treating him like a god? And more importantly, how does the alien feel who's been living here for 33 years? Does he worry about getting killed? Does he worry about being not accepted? How lonely has his life been up until that point? And that's a very real question. It's something which hasn't been asked in previous movies.
Holy grail of the rehearsal is still out there. You have to sort of take that Superman into yourself and then let him back out. And that's how the interpretation kind of happens, you know. That's when you make the little tweaks to the S or to the suit or maybe to the mythology, to Krypton, all the little things you do to kind of try and modernize it. Or I don't even think it's modernizing it so much as just personalizing it. And so that's kind of the approach I took towards like bringing it back into pop culture.
What's the S stand for?
It's not an S. In my world, it means hope.
Well, here it's an S. How about superpower?
Also an S. It's almost like something that's never been talked about in the past. Everybody just assumed it stood for Superman. Nobody ever asked any questions. And I was a huge fan of the first one when I was a kid.
I was too. I was so
I thought it was such a great scene when you're like, look at us here.
It's one of my favorite scenes that I shot just because it was the first time Henry and I really got to sit down and sort of develop this relationship. And in the shooting of it, it was much longer and it was just so much fun to shoot. And the S standing for hope, and I really did love that Lois's answer was, well, here it's an S, so that was
I really like that. El Hombre de Acero se filmó en Estados Unidos y Canadá, específicamente en las ciudades de Chicago y Vancouver. Gran parte del filme se rodó en vivo, pero la mayoría de las escenas de acción fueron generadas por computadora.
When we shot in Illinois, we picked up our Smallville there. We went to a little town called Plano, which was about 40 minutes west of Chicago. And it was quintessential Americana, and then headed up to Vancouver, where we picked up a lot of our interiors and then also did a lot of our green screen work.
Trying to keep the movie real, how does CGI affect that aspect?
Well, I mean, that's the thing, you know, I've done a fair amount of visual effects movies, and I kind of have the idea about how visual effects are supposed to work in a movie, and we knew from the beginning that Superman couldn't do anything that wasn't a visual effect because of the way he moves and fights and stuff. And so yeah, so the CG really had to be as bulletproof as it could possibly be. And that was the big challenge.
How much of it was CGI?
A lot. I think there's 1,800 visual effects shots in the movie.
This must be one of the movies where you had the most live action scenes, the most CGI. What was this whole experience?
It was definitely a challenge at times, and Zach was really patient with me because there were times where I was being very internal, where he needed me to be very external. He's so patient with me about those times, and it was really fun. I mean, we did all this wire work and like being strapped to Henry while they drop you like across an entire sound stage. You know, it was really cool. And then Henry having to land on one foot was kind of amazing.
Was it difficult working with CGI?
I didn't mind it. I mean, it forces you to use your imagination. But that's a fun thing, you know. I mean, it's just like when you're a kid, if you're out in your backyard, pretending like, you know, playing a character like this, you don't have a set or anything, you know, you're just in your yard using your imagination. It's kind of the same thing.
How was it working with CGI for both of you guys and all these live action scenes?
This is what it's really like. And that's going to be behind me. Back behind me right there. How big is it going to be? Like, okay, so I act like it's behind me. That's our experience, because we deal with reality all the time. With Zach, it's like some other road, and it's going to fall down. Okay.
And so the wind that hits me is from the building falling nearby. Okay. So
Almost every conversation, okay.
Sure.
Okay. You know, and that's just being in a special effects movie. It's like, okay, he's there. Hey, look, if I swing it, make sure you put something there, all right? You know, don't hang us out to dry.
Al regreso, más detalles de cómo se hizo El Hombre de Acero en nuestro especial Solo por Warner.